Hey, hey, how's everybody doing today? Who do we got in the chat room right now? Let's take a peek here. Mikey, Fortnite Explorers, SR, what's going on? Crypto Natural, James Ashmore, DJ Prodigy 562, what's up, Pauls? Scope Cam, hey, Paul Rangle, what's up, Clonius 13 Karate K. How is everybody doing today? My name is Big Chonis. Remember, you guys can find me on Twitter. I am at Big Chonis. These are all my best ideas. I take technical analysis very seriously. I am a crypto trader. I am an investor. I am a chart psychologist. Please do your own research. I am so happy today to be sitting next to one of my good friends. Find him on Twitter at Big Cheds. And say hello to everybody, Big Cheds.
What's up, guys? Big Cheds.
Thanks, my friend. What's going on, Dustin? What's going on, Brett? What's going on, Juan? Hello, Ryan. Hey, Sammy, JC, Telios, Claiborne, Taylor. Guys, I want to remind you, I am offering mentoring sessions for September. If you guys have any interest in this, please feel free to reach out to me on Twitter, DM me at BigChonis, or send me an email, bigchonis@gmail.com. This is a great way at any level if you want to hone your skills in crypto trading and chart TA in general. I'm also part of the until1mil.com package. Check out the at Big Chonis package. Until1mil.com/TA packages. Great spot there. Great group of people talking crypto all the time. You can find Vamp there as well. Great group of guys there. All right. Thank you for your time on that. And let's get right into it. All right, guys. So let's acknowledge what we have going on here. Okay. We have a very massive dump taking place right now. We have tremendous volume in the dump. They're huge. I'm on the 5 minute here, but we're just seeing a very close look at what kind of price action we have here. Now, we've been trending sideways, right, for several days here. And we've been putting in, go to a little higher time frame here, and we've been putting in consortium of different patterns here. Some are calling this a flag, some are calling this a pennant, some are calling this a bottom diamond. But in essence, we basically have broken bearish from it, currently finding support somewhere around 61.50. So I'm going to talk about a little key areas of interest I look at here, and I'm going to turn over to my buddy Ched. So we're going to start with our hourly chart here. Now you can still see how low we are from the EMAs that I like to use. We were trying to find some stability in them as we were able to go sideways for a couple days here, but now those EMAs have shown very strong resistance. We couldn't even get up on the 1 hour to touch my EMA 55 here, and we basically have sold into that. So do we have any buyers in this area, and why have we stopped in this current area here? So if we go back in history and we get a sense of kind of where we just put the brakes on, we are basically finding support in this price cluster here, okay, that kind of held us bouncing around here. And then when we broke bearish here, it actually acted as a strong resistance area on the first attempt. Then we were actually able to push higher and break through it. So 61.50 has shown a significant area, and we're getting close to running out of I would say significant recent support areas in our price action here. Going back to this area and then back to what we had in the end of June there, where we put in our current low so far this year, 57.50 area. Okay, we don't have a lot of historic room left here, and we're only $400 away from getting close to that area. Okay, now from a broader perspective here, what have we done so far? Well, currently we are putting in a higher low compared to where we bottomed, compared to our second test here back at the mid-August, which actually brought us a very nice move here. And then once again, we are in this area currently putting a higher low overall. But listen, is this kind of a bearish volume here, giving the market that kind of sense that we found a good support area here? Or is it going to take a real major move to basically say that we've done that for sure. A couple more indicators here. Let's go to our 4-hour. We're looking here at our RSI. You can see we've been mired down here for a couple days. We were able to get our head above 30, and now I've kind of put in currently a higher low with a lower low in Bitcoin's price there. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Our stochastic was trying to turn bullish and kind of clearly turned over bearishly there. And our MACD, oh, that was the MACD I was showing you, wasn't it? This is the MACD, had turned bearish and currently testing that, okay? Hasn't crossed yet, currently still in a bullish up cross, but very close here to crossing the negative there as well. And our Stoch is currently angled downward there. All right, so that's what I got for a quick analysis here. Obviously, we have broken from this sideways pattern, and we are putting in a new situation here. One last thing, I want to go to the daily and just take a look at our current candle. Now, we still have 6 hours to go in this current candle, but we are about to put in our fourth, currently very nasty green day in a row. Red day in a row. Once again, getting closer to our recent historical support areas. Take it away, Cheds.
Yeah, I mean, clearly we've hit a bear break. I see a little bit of confusion. One or two people in the chat room seem a little confused. I wasn't necessarily saying we were going to the moon at any point. What I was watching and what I was talking about is we had a tweezer bottom set up here with these two candles. I'll show you in just a second. But these two candles here, we did put in what was called a tweezer bottom, followed up with an inverted hammer. But these are all probability plays. You know, when you see something like this, it just means that it's more than likely to break bullish. It's not 100%. So what you need to do is continue to watch your key levels of support.
And for a scalp trade, it was.
Yeah, and for scalp trade, you had a little bit of a bounce. I mean, if you played on the tweezer bottom, if you played on the completion of this candle close here on this 6 hour, you were at 64. You had a little bounce, fine, mid 65s or whatnot. But clearly, you had a level to watch that was your breakdown, your stop loss here. So if you're going to play the tweezer bottom setup, you should have already exited when the price, Big Chonis, was unable to maintain a candle close above the 63.03 level. So that's a pretty clear stop loss. I think you showed us some really interesting things with the indicators and the oscillators. I think that was nice to show everybody. And I know you did a little bit of a bigger picture, so I'll just kind of reiterate some of your comments, talking about how we are in a zone of historic support. As we go down, we're running out of support. So you can mark levels anywhere. You can have this low, you can have this low. So really we don't know where it's going to stop bouncing. I don't see anything. You said, do we see anything in the volume that says it's bottom? I don't.
Well, that says it's bottom. I agree, and that's the thing here. We are clearly in a bearish pattern here that we have seen before. I mean, remember this kind of felt like, at least it took a lot of people off guard, how quickly we were able to rise, and we had a very similarity about how quickly we were able to fall here. And that is notable because, once again, in a very quick amount of time, and we were just in a blink of an eye ago at $7,300. So
how long ago was that? A couple days?
Like 3 days. I mean, we're talking hours here.
Yeah.
And this is a for example here where if you don't play with your stop losses.
Yeah. So when was the last time you were long, Big Chonis? Where were you long last year?
Well, listen, this up pattern here, when we broke out, especially my EMA resistance areas, okay, so we were able to find support on my EMA 12, and then we were able to find support on the 26, back test on the 12 held. So this area here told me that we had very good movement here and a good strong support, and that has been able to keep us moving higher in this move here. But I was also pretty clear. I was able to find pretty much 5 complete waves through here. I was pretty comfortable with the wave 5 extension. Now there was one more chance we could get a little higher to my MA 200 on the daily,
right,
which shows to be very close. We get close,
right,
but we don't get to touch it, and we didn't get close at all. I mean, this is showing a more bearish market than we actually thought.
Well, let's go back. How close did we come last time?
Very similar. We actually,
so that's
right, closer than this time, but still, we didn't even touch it.
But is the 200 going to flatten out, or is it going to keep going down? What's it going
So it was trying to, okay, and now it's definitely with this move here, once again, steepening. So again, this will keep us resistance-wise. We know that's kept in current, but now it's basically have a situation here, as Cheds was pointing out, that we're once again back to these key areas. We did not spend a lot of time in these lower areas. Now, this recent move, okay, was stabilized right here. Okay, so we have found stability on this move right here. And that's the thing that we have to keep an eye on here, because basically, if we don't follow this trend and basically keep it going with the support we have found here, then we're going to lose that. And then we
Right.
got a couple more areas here, but we're talking hundreds of dollars here.
Yep.
And listen, Bitcoin is about faith, okay? It's about market, it's
Mm-hmm.
about news driven events.
Mm-hmm.
We have not had a lot of good bullish news. The Goldman Sachs stuff last week was confusing at best. We had
So, but where do we sit with it though? Are
we
they
don't.
in?
I still have basically two different scenarios where they're like, oh, we've decided to put our crypto exposure on hold and everything. And then they were saying, oh, it's just a bunch of fake news. Either way, the market doesn't even care. And because when they said it was fake news, we didn't get that kind of relief rally, it just shows
Right.
that I don't even think that was the catalyst. I think people are kind of using that as timing for this move here.
Tweezer top.
Yeah, Twitter chart, the chart itself, the historic support lines we had created. I did tweets on those. We were hitting up to major resistances that have held the whole time. And there was no reason to think that this would be any different, no matter what we basically were going to continue to see through this whole move here. So a couple more indicators here. We're looking for areas where we can confirm if we've been outside the standard deviation. So we're looking on our daily Bollingers here, okay? Now we're still inside our lower BB, which is widening. Get rid of this guy and get rid of this guy here, okay? Now, we were tighter here, relatively speaking. We're actually widen our dailies once again, okay, which gives us a lot of running room here, okay. Our middle BB didn't even act with any support at all, so I don't have any faith in this actually acting as support. Now it's very strong resistance. And of course, all my EMAs are now bear crossing once again because of this, bear break here. So nothing is very bullish on the chart.
Nope.
We're also looking for in areas where we can see declining sell volume, and again, we're just not seeing that. And
Yeah.
again, the way we kind of fall here is kind of one step, two steps. So we blew through any supports we had in the 6,800 area, right? Totally blew through those. And now basically we've come back to an area here where you are finding, okay, that little bit of support that we actually did have back in this area right here, where we actually spent several, hourly candles here finding this support
Middle
and building a
August.
base. This was what led us to our nice bullish move. Okay, so we definitely have a pool of liquidity here, they like to call that, and an area where there are buyers. You can also see on our VPVR, okay, this is by far our zone, okay, of most dollar price action. Sub 65, okay, but a little higher than 62, 61, and currently blew through that. Under that, and this is what's very important about this indicator, I can actually show it a little higher time frame. Let's go back to auto. Okay, there we go. So this is our entire history of...
Since what? 17.
Let's just stick with this year. Well, no, yeah, let's just stick with from 17, okay? So we see where... I guess that has to overlap, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
well,
okay.
just a lot though from early 17. Look at that. Look at all that volume in the 1,000 range.
Yeah, but I want to point out this area here, this window.
Volume
okay?
gap.
A volume gap, or you call it a window or something, right?
Sure.
Where you have it from what, 5,500
Gap and window, the same thing.
to $4,700
Yep,
there. And
right.
what we mean by that, if we go back in history and we look, we blew through there so quickly.
Right. And
Okay?
haven't tested it yet.
Haven't tested it.
So who knows?
That's why if we have one more bar here of decent history.
What's this low, Big Chonis from November? What's that low here? Like, yeah, right where you are, just a little
So
bit.
this
to the
was
left.
our 5,500 retest. So that's our next cluster, really. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
It's a little lower than our February lows, and it's definitely lower than our June lows. But now we're clearly in an area here where you basically want to find the next area of support, and all we can use on that is an area where we had been there back in October of 17.
Uh-huh.
like the entire month, right? And then
Right.
we did have a back test in November that showed that
Can we
$5,500
see a weekly
areas
chart?
was held.
Because I was
Absolutely.
just looking at. We did a review. I did a review earlier, and Bitcoin, and this is big Cheds, guys. Bitcoin had a higher low on the weekly chart, and Ethereum and Litecoin did not. So we're
Mm.
now really. I mean, for me, big picture. I don't know about you. I'm watching to maintain higher lows. It would be this high wave candle here 4 weeks ago.
So you're
No,
saying
four.
we're at some sort of an up
Well,
angle
not necessarily
still?
a trend. Well, that's fine, but really, if you rate just straight across from this last low, that's what I want to maintain. On this 4 candles ago, 1, 2, 3, 4, like whatever that.
As the bottom.
That's yeah, because this is a higher low,
Right.
right? So I really want to
Yes, yeah.
maintain the
Okay.
second.
Oh, because if you lose
Yes,
that, then you
correct. Then
lose the
do it a
higher
higher
low.
low,
Right.
right? Exactly.
Okay, so 57.50 is like do or die is what you're
Yeah.
kind of saying there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about your thoughts? And you're kind of
Could be descending triangle though. Look at that. But it
well,
could be descending
it's
triangle.
been one. And if I go to log scale, okay, we have a clearly defined
Yeah.
roof here.
Yeah.
Now, the reason that 6,500 was still in the car, sorry, 7,500
Right.
was
Upper
because
trend line.
we could touch that one more time.
Which would have been 100. Which would have been the 200 MA on the
Yeah,
hourly.
yeah, or a lot closer to the 200 MA on the hourly there. 200, nice.
Yeah.
All right, real quick here. Hello to our 204 closest friends in the chat. Who else have we didn't caught out? Hello, Jeanette. We talked about Fortnite. Hello, Brett. What's going on, buddy? Lisa, Tokyo Girl. Hey, great to have you on here today. Nikhil, what's going on, my friend? Jesse C. The bomb shot. High as can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Touche, my friend. Love it, buddy.
Yeah, you want to talk about alt? Someone's asking how we. I wanted to ask you what Big Chonis, what your opinion is of kind of altcoins right now.
All right,
What's
so
dominance at first of all?
I'll do alt and we'll do dominance. I
Okay.
would, now that you just said that, I just noticed one thing. I just want to bring this up here.
Yeah.
Weekly bearish engulfing,
Yeah.
double,
Yeah.
triple bearish engulfing.
Well,
Currently,
it's almost like a three. It's almost like a falling three methods.
is this a Maribuzu currently?
Yeah. Yes.
Even
It's
with this little-
essentially because these two prior red candles. If that was one candle, you'd have a falling three methods bearish continuation pattern.
Notice that,
There's a bearish three-line strike. There's
Yeah.
actually a three-line strike.
and then you notice that our EMA 26
Yep.
is exactly where we actually wicked off on the weekly.
It could just be coincidental though, because we really just blew through it before though. 6 weeks
Yeah.
ago.
We also closed
gonna hit
below our
some line, right?
middle BB. So where's our middle? Where's our lower BB now on our weekly?
Yeah.
$5,200.
51,
And our 100 MA is
52.
also here as well, right around $5,200 there. So basically, that's what's going on here, and that's what we're going to have to keep an eye on because these are the things that are going to set the trend for what is going to set us in kind of this next mood here. Now we talk about areas that we want the market to see that we are able to hold and move higher because again, without bullish news and without market sentiment, these are the two things that are really going to bring us any kind of bullish momentum here. And we're flirting with this major line here.
What's that support line, Big Joe? What's this
Okay.
rising blue line that I'm looking
So our
at?
blue line is our MA 100 on our weekly. Okay, now 5,200 and rising, and actually that could be our first stop before our lower BB if we continue to break bearish. Notice our angle of our BBs are also angled down. All right, so let's look at one more thing here before we get in the alts, and I want to look at the shorts. We have seen our short contracts rise through this entire bearish decline. They actually loaded up before, a couple days before. We were retesting very close to all-time highs once again
Okay.
that we had set in back with this wick in April.
Double top.
Retested it here as double top, and now we're going for a triple top. So we're going to break it. It's kind of inevitable. But we actually have profit taking where people are taking profits.
They're covering. They're covering. They're short. A lot of people
Yeah.
shorted at 6,400, right?
And they're
64,
taking money off the
65,
table, I
right.
would say, because they're basically in the money now, with that's what you're seeing there. So, and longs continue to capitulate. So this is more of a story, I think, than the shorts are, is how we have long contracts. This is brutal. This
Yeah.
is setting up for a big dump.
It looks like the price, right? Can't
It
maintain
kind of does.
higher low,
yeah.
right?
And these are people taking off a lot of positions,
Yep.
expecting a lot more
But
bearishness.
look at where we are below the lower Bollinger.
Yeah,
Last two
yeah.
times here, you saw a
That's a
little bit
good
of a
point.
relief
So
rally.
we are starting to see when we can get oversold. However, the tightness versus where we had been,
Yeah, when it breaking bear in reaction to
we
tightness.
could be out a couple days.
Yeah, a couple days,
and it wouldn't be that crazy.
and then it starts to
Yeah.
flatten out. Yeah.
All right, let's look at some alts, see what's going on good here. So I'm kind of looking at my main ones here. What do we have? We have one alt in the positive, ZEC BTC. Okay, remember, this
Yeah.
is our Bitcoin equivalent, okay? Or our, what's the word?
I don't know, some exchange
Ratio. No, I'm just saying like the BTC.
denominator.
Yeah, there's USD and there's BTC. So
Oh,
remember,
comparing.
well, it's the equivalent comparison, but basically
Benchmark.
if you have a good BTC chart
Uh-huh.
and Bitcoin tanks, your
Yeah.
USD valuation
Oh, it's your
is gonna
denominator.
start. So you're going.
Denominator. It's a number it's divided by.
I'm
yeah.
losing the word. It's the equivalent. Yeah, the BTC, whatever.
Yeah.
Pairing. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
jeez.
BTC pairing. So this is our only green, which is showing
Is this 24 hours?
Yeah,
Or is it
8 to
since candle close?
8 to 8.
8 to 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this, yeah. So these will
So it's 8 to 8. So it's since candle close. It's not
Yes.
a 24 hours. So
It's-
that's just since last night.
correct. So we have 5 more hours left. So this is currently on my list, my first list here. The only thing that's showing some bullish divergence while Bitcoin is falling. Let's look into my larger alts list and see if anything is standing out today.
We should do weed stocks another time. Wouldn't that be
We
fun?
could do a whole show on that for
Yeah,
sure.
we could do that later. We'll look into that.
All right, so a couple things, either just some BTC pairings that are showing some bullish divergence. Okay,
Right.
now you were actually talking about Dash earlier.
Yeah,
Chad.
Dash is doing nice. Look at that. Look at that bull break.
That's interesting. That is a
We
good
just broke-
volume too.
Yep.
This was really oversold on a certain indicators. What was the RSI when it got down low? Yeah, we bottomed at 20, and then we had a higher low on the
You got
RSI.
the divergence. You started
Yep.
the bullish
Yep.
divergence.
And also our MACD definitely crossed bullish.
It's almost like an inverted head and shoulders in the RSI.
Yeah, I see that. Here, and then we broke out
Yeah.
at the neckline.
And do you ever, Big Chonis, do you ever notice how in like a really falling chart, it's falling? It's usually after the RSI makes its second
The
bottom.
second bottom.
Right. Which
And this is
happened
an
here.
example where a bottoming RSI does not necessarily mean
Yet.
at the bottom of the price yet.
Yet,
You
yep.
actually, if you waited for a bullish divergence situation.
Chalk and money flow bullish divergence.
Another thing here, our chalking went positive
Yeah.
after being zero line resistance.
Wow, since May.
Okay, and not just went positive,
Right.
but back tested with support.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so currently this is a good looking chart here, and it's clearly in some sort of an up wave here. So Dash, BTC, what else here? Doggy Coin. Okay, now
Yeah.
listen, this is
Is it Doge or is it Doggy?
I want to call it Dog E Coin. I guess Dogecoin is also
Sounds cooler
fashionable.
though. Doge sounds cooler.
It does.
Like
it does.
yeah.
I'll go to 12 hour here. All right, take a look here. So look, we broke really bullish.
Yep.
Here comes the pump and dump.
Can
right.
we point out how it's made its second move after the volume? See the volume trend?
What do we fib at here?
Look at that,
Where,
right?
Where do we find fib support?
Yeah, this would
Look
be a
at
good
that.
one to kind of dig into.
So we find fib support here, right in a nice pocket here,
61.8.
61.8,
Yep.
okay, and a good healthy bounce, which is telling us here this could actually have some
This
running
could have a
room.
continuation, but look at the volume trend here. Look at that right there. If
Yeah.
you draw the
That
line,
was massive.
you see how
declining.
I had to break. You see how when we broke the downtrend in volume? You want to mark that so everyone sees what I'm talking about?
With
yeah,
the
just-
horizontal.
No, just go the arrow line straight down like this. Yeah, you had it trend line. You go see right. See how we broke the downtrend?
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
a sign
Yeah.
of potentially breaking this consolidation. Now you could do it that way too,
Well,
but really you were doing it this way. You could
Well,
see
I
when
also think what you have here is you have a clear sign of a buying drying up.
Yep, bulls rejecting lower
Yeah.
prices. EMA support on this whatever line that is. What is
Yeah.
that? What is
this
this line?
This is the EMA 12.
EMA 12. Look, held support.
Yep.
Boom, boom,
Yep.
all the way
Very
up.
bullish chart still. Now,
Yep.
what is our...
Because I have EMA tracked. I was
Yeah,
doing 8.
wow, we got to 94 on the 12-hour
RSI,
What was
really?
the daily got to like 80. Wow, 93. Okay,
Jeez.
and look where we still
See,
are.
that's
right now,
exuberant. That's
75.
irrational. Clearly, that's
So
irrational buying.
This is take your profits on a day. This is a high time frame here, okay? But the fact that we've held this bullishness here
Yep.
is very, very interesting. Now the bottom one here is our chalk and money flow, and it's this is one that basically it basically it works off of a zero line, and then everything above it, everything below it, and basically it's a positive money flow indicator, negative money flow indicator.
No, if I may, actually, I've looked in this one a little bit. You should. There's a technique where to erase static or noise. It's really anything from plus +0.5 to plus -5 is the middle, right? It's not an exact zero.
Okay.
So it's really when you cross over the 0.5 or below the 0.5. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what you do is you have a zone. You know how a sampling error, like in polls,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of how, like on the stock goodies, they did a really good video on this and on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and they've kind of talked about that. So you have a little zone. So you look for above the, you know what I mean, and ignore the in the middle because you get a little bit of a whiplash.
And then being above then that 0.05 plus
Yeah.
is a very bullish positive indicator here. So keep an eye on the RSI here. We're still frothy on our daily, okay, and our BBs are way spread out here, okay. So where this consolidates will be very
Well,
interesting.
can I ask you, Big Chonis, can you do an Elliott? Like, can you Elliott wave this, or is it too abnormal to kind
Well,
of?
it's not, but what we can look at. Let me go to a 4 hour. Let me take a peek at a wave pattern, and let's look at some fibs on a lower time frame and get a sense of what we've been able to achieve here. So, how far back one is? Yeah, okay, yeah, a long 2 and a short 4. Yeah.
So aren't we just in wave 3 though?
No, this could be
1,
5.
2,
This-
3.
This could be 5. Look at this.
Oh, you start here.
Let's see if
1,
this
2.
plays out. A very long 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a crazy long 2.
The 3 works with a very short 4.
Okay.
Can be valid with a very long 2.
So all this is part of 4. All this consolidation here.
Yep. Now let's play this out with fibs and see if this actually validates based on Elliott rules. So we're going to do a 1 to our 3, and look at that. A 3 went exactly to a 2.36. So yeah, this is totally a valid wave 3 extension of our initial wave 1.
236, which is very bullish to
And-
even go to 2.
Yeah,
like,
and that's a
right,
good.
2
But
anything.
to hit it on the nose there, that
Yeah.
tells us that's basically a clean.
On the wick, did it hit in the
fib
nose, or was it
break.
roughly?
I think that's pretty
I mean,
close.
pretty
for
much.
horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah,
Right?
in government
And
work.
look where we're hitting resistance right now, right at the 2, which is basically 2 to 1 of this 1 here. So now that we know that 3, okay, is valid, then let's see what our 5 extension could be based on the length of 3, starting it at the bottom where wave 4 ended,
How did you pick this last point here?
because
60?
this is the end of 4, beginning of 5.
Okay.
So I'm claiming that this is 5,
I see.
and that the wave 5 started at the bottom here, which
Okay.
is also in the wave 4.
Okay.
So I'm saying the length of 3, what do we have for 5? Now 5, because 3, I would say, is definitely very extended because we just proved it hit the 218 there at 2.23. That means that 5 could be truncated, meaning shorter, okay, which means the 91 resistance is currently hitting here could be significant because this would basically be a truncated 5. Now, best case, you can see 98, which would be an extension of 3, but just a little one, okay?
Okay.
Just a little one. 108 would be a much more aggressive thing, and I would be surprised if we get above a 1-to-1 because of the ratio of 3 based on how long it was based on 1.
Also psychologically 100 Satoshi. I mean, that's a pretty big resistance.
Exactly. And it kind of corresponds with a double top. Okay, so best case here, I'd say 98 or 108, and then after that, you're
Yep.
kind of just hoping and praying.
Now, we're not like that into Dogecoin, but I just thought this is an interesting one maybe to
It
just look
is.
at fibs
and again,
Elliott
this
waves.
is a way where you can use your Elliots, and then you can use your fibs to kind of
Yep.
confirm
Uh-huh.
if it validates based on the rules.
So this is one of those things that you teach like in the mentoring. Like if I didn't know anything about this, is something you could
and
you
listen,
could do.
sometimes you can just watch a lot of videos and not really get it. With a one-on-one,
Yeah.
asking the specific questions that
Right.
you want to know about is very important, and that's why I've found a lot of people have found that thing very helpful.
Okay.
Let's look at a few more. Let's look at Ethereum, because we were looking at its first break under $200 there, right?
Okay.
So let's take a look at.
Are we still under 200?
I don't know. Let's go.
We have ETH, BTC,
Let's get this in order here. Okay, so ETC, it's ETH.
Bitfinex. Where are we?
There we go.
Bittrex.
Okay, so we're on the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay, we have just found support at 200. Now remember, a lot of people were looking for this 200 area
The 4 hour.
as a major support. Let's go daily, right?
Oh, we have that prior low. What was that low you were just Yeah, right there. See how right that?
Hold on, I can't see.
Is that from September. Looks like we bounced to this low 200 area in September, Big Chonis.
So we have a lot of history here.
Yep.
Um, oh yeah, that was my accumulation area there for months. Okay, so there's a lot of history right
Yep.
in this $200 area
Let's.
in Ethereum. Here,
Mhm.
here,
Okay.
here, and now we're once again there. So a couple things here.
Mhm.
We are expecting this area to hold for somewhat of a certainty because of how much historical support it has. And anything under it is just a complete collapse into the low 100s. Our daily RSI,
Is this right now? We're under 24 right now.
we are under 20, we're at 23.
Yep.
We've been as low as 17 and 18 and 21. Okay,
Yep.
so not as low um, as we've seen in previous history here. Now our Stochastic is completely reset on our daily chart, and our Chalkin, okay, completely angled bearishly. We're losing momentum, okay, and our MACD just had a bear cross on our daily. This was intense volume here. Remember, ICOs, okay, were all based on
Right.
the swapping. You send the ICO Ethereum, they send you their tokens,
Yep.
okay? So the only things they actually have value-wise is Ethereum, and they're needing to raise capital, and they're dumping it on the open
So
market.
we're not going to have the flippening. We're not going to have Ethereum take over for Bitcoin, right?
A lot of people, a lot of Ethereum early people who were convinced and were the all-time holders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have examples of certain coins that went parabolic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum was one of the big winners. Okay,
Yep.
it was one of the biggest winners. Okay,
Wow,
in
1400.
terms of this was literally $4. Okay, like 18 months ago, and
Jeez.
it went up roughly 13,000%.
Right.
Okay, basically you got almost $1,400 for every Ethereum you had if you had bought in about like 15, 18 months ago. Okay,
Wow.
and a lot of people bought a bunch of Ethereum and held it.
Right.
Okay, and they held it all the way up, and unfortunately, a lot of people held it all the way down.
All the way down.
You know, so we're still.
But there was good
seeing
money
that.
to be made trading as well.
Absolutely, and there still can be. Now, listen, we are finding once again, can we hold this Ethereum support level?
I mean, honestly though, why? Because look, we have just as and this is big Cheds, guys. That was big Chonis. We had just as much reason to potentially hold support here, big Chonis, as we do down here. It's similar horizontal support. We're just breaking through it. So I don't know that, you know, we may hold it or we may not. But you have to give bears the edge here, don't you?
You do, but in those times where you felt like, oh, this is the end, oh, look how low this thing is,
Yeah.
have kind of been those times where it actually could have been a good buying opportunity and could have been one of those buying in the blood. When there's blood in the streets, you buy
Yeah.
stock kind of situation here. Okay. But faith in the market is important. And if we're at 200 now
Uh-huh.
with Bitcoin at 6150, okay,
Wow.
what's Bitcoin going to be? What's Ether going to be if Bitcoin breaks another $500?
You know, this
Yeah.
is not Tone Vase. It's Big Chonis and Big Cheds. We've been doing this for a while. And someone was asking, where can I learn to trade like you guys? Like Big Chonis talked about, he has a really good one-on-one mentoring service. If you want to check out, if you ask me, there's good videos on YouTube. Stock Goodies Chart School has good videos. I'm also part of Bitcoin Live. There's a lot of great free and also premium resources out there. So you can ask either of us. We're happy to direct you, put you in the right direction.
Yeah, and also listen, like the years that Cheds and I have studied the charts and watched daily tick by tick price action, like
Yeah.
these are things that you can't learn in a book, you can't watch in a video. You kind of have to go through it. And that's how you become a better trader is by
Yeah.
watching the price action, feeling the rhythm of the chart
Yep.
and the rhythm of the night.
It's like a radiologist has to look at a lot of X-rays, right? And then they can understand how to.
Very quickly they know exactly what they're looking for, and that's why as a chartist you can become one by constantly watching different charts and getting a sense and seeing similarities, patterns, the way price action moves, oversold indicators, stuff like that. So these are interesting things there. So let's take a look at Bitcoin here, okay? And let's take a look at what's going on, and then we can kind of wrap it
Well, the
up in a
4 hour. I
little
mean, you know
bit.
how sometimes in a downtrend you'll see the RSI reset a little bit, only so they can push it lower. So I wonder if that's what's going
Yeah,
on.
sometimes rising RSIs are not the best thing because it allows it for a lower dip there. So this rise and recovery when we got super bearish on our first drop to
Yep,
$6,300,
yep.
and then the sideways price action with a rising RSI potentially could have trapped a couple
Yeah.
longs because of that.
Yeah. What was OBV doing though at that time? Can I just see?
I've been bearish on our OBV for a
Look,
while.
see, it wasn't diverging, but the RSI was diverging.
Yep.
You got to be careful. You
Yep.
get fake RSI, fake divergence from RSI.
And respectfully, to the chart, the
Yeah.
4 hour OBV
Yeah.
has been kind of calling this for a little bit here. Where I've been
Yeah.
seeing consistent selling off, bearish divergence,
Yeah.
even when we see a little upticks in Bitcoin here. And that's kind of telling the tale for me so far. I want to do a quick TD count to get a sense of where we
Yeah.
are in the pattern here.
Yeah.
Do a couple
Speaking
hours.
of tone vase.
Speaking of Tone Vase, and listen, I'll give Tone the credit. He got me really into the TD, and I like using it, and I like adding it to my TA and the kind of charting I did because on a couple good key time frames, it's been very accurate. So currently here we cleaned up, finished at a green 4. We're on a very clean red 1. Because we've fallen so far here, we can put in several red countdown candles even if we do climb higher because of how low we are from the previous bunch.
But how about daily? Won't we get a better sense of the downtrend using
so
the
let's
count?
look at our 6 hour. We kind of go up from there.
Yeah.
We're on a red 2 very early in a count, so not much to glean from that. Our 12 hour, again on a red 1, very tight cluster, only made it to a red 6, looking a little promising here with our first green 1, and then that just kind of fell through. And because we fell this very long candle, we can put in a very much longer red sequence because we have running room. Now, our daily is on a red 4, and let's just look back at the previous counts on our daily. We had a complete perfect green 9, perfected. It was the highest of all the 9. We then had a 1 to 4 candle flop around. We had another down and with a perfected bearish 9 countdown, which actually is
Why isn't it? But it went further though. Look at the hammer candle, whatever.
Because it was put in as a 9.
Well, why is it 10, 11, 12? I mean, it went lower, right? So
because you don't start a new count until you either go
above that, below, or break it.
So you can't start. Well, for starters, it only goes up until 9. Then you have to go back 4 candles to set your tone. So it wasn't until this green 1 did we close higher than this previous 4 candle, which allowed it to be its first green 1.
Oh, I see. It's on the candle close above.
It's on the based on the previous 4
But then it was faked
back.
out. Then it went back and closed below, and then you have another 1 red.
But then we actually were able to complete a bullish 9 pattern, not a perfected because our 9 was not at the top of our sequence.
What does that mean? It's not perfected. That means
it's
no
perfected
continuation?
means more meaning. So this perfected bullish 9
meant
that the top was in.
That it wasn't as bearish, and this weaker 9 meant it was still bullish rather than being bearish.
Because it could bleed out and go
because the top of a bull 9 should be bearish.
And this one did pretty much mark the bottom, give or take a little bit.
Lower wicks, inverted. We have beautiful candles, inverted hammers, several inverted hammers, four of them, 5.
It was the bleed out that set our bottom, but still very accurate. And then once again here, we're on a red 4, and we have so much running room here because we're counting 4 candles back to set our tone. So we can probably put in a clean 9 count because of the running room. We have several more days to go. We'll see how this plays out. Now, I just want to say something real quickly. We have taken 1, 2, 3, in 4 days. Okay, we have dropped $1,100 in Bitcoin. Okay,
That's a lot of wealth. That's a lot of wealth gone, right?
That's a great idea to bring up our coin market cap. So we have broken.
Refresh. Is this good to go or?
Let's take a peek here with 194. Yeah, okay, this is accurate. So 1,926 cryptocurrencies traded on 13,731 markets. We are sub 200 billion total crypto. Okay, 12-hour volume is about 11 billion all around. That's low for all of
That's
crypto.
all crypto, not just Bitcoin. So
Correct.
that's low.
Now, Bitcoin dominance yesterday was a couple percentage points lower. It was at 54 and change. So
Okay.
it's raised a little dominance,
Yep.
but this basically shows that everything fell. Alts fell a little more. Let's go to Bitcoin price action here. Back to 200.
Yep.
So look at this volume here. This is not a lot of volume actually.
Yep.
We're still sub 4 billion today in the 24-hour period. We put in over 5 our past 2 days. This was our sell-off days here. This was our high volume sell-off days here.
High, but it's really five. That's kind of low, isn't 5558 kind of low?
Compared to recently, it's high.
Yeah,
compared
that's true.
to way back, absolutely
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
low. Look at Bitcoin's market cap, Cheds, 107.
Wow.
So we're flirting with 100 billion.
Seems low, man.
Once again. And remember, we did find support. It was back 107 here. Okay, 109 here. I don't know. I think 100 billion. I think we got a little 102 once.
Did we test 100 billion like a couple months ago, a month ago?
I think we got 102. Yeah, it was, oh, here it is. Here it is. 104, 1041.
Yeah. Okay.
1041.
June, late June, yeah.
Oh, here it is. 198.
Wow.
Okay, so remember this, guys. We have tested 100 and held once.
Yeah.
Twice will be a second test. A third time? I don't know.
Yep, I think that's a good point. I think we're going to, we're talking about psychological support. We've talked about, and resistance. We've talked about 100 on Dogecoin. We're talking about 100 market cap on Bitcoin. Before it was BTC dominance. When it hit 50, alts are going to reverse, right? So, you have to decide how much weight you put in chart resistance and physical resistance and psychological.
Yeah, and that's what psychological is right now, guys. We're starting September. Very bearish break here, okay? We need to hold this area. I have lots of ideas about what the 5,000s can bring us. We can definitely talk about those when and if that becomes important to know about because, again, until we break our all-time lows, we don't have to talk
all-time
about...
lows?
All-time lows for 2018.
Okay.
Which again, 5750, we're not that far away. And because this is our third close in time, relatively speaking, test of this area, I don't know how long we can keep it up. We're seeing bearish volume increasing. We need a day when we have very low volume. That can show us that a lot of the selling has potentially subsided, okay? But from indicators like our RSI, okay, we're not oversold yet. We're still at 36 on our daily RSI. We've been low as 25, okay? We've been as low as 26, and we've been really low way back in the day here, as low as 16, okay? So our RSI says we can fall a lot farther. The chart says we can fall farther. And if we break these areas here...
The shoulders, right? We had our prior inverse head and shoulders. We're working on some neckline, some lower neck resistance, even headline support, head support at this point.
Real quick, Cheds. Do you think that the height of this new shoulder does not make this valid as a HNS? Because this is so much higher?
Why not? You can do head and shoulder bearish continuation. It's actually called head and shoulders continuation. Rather than head and shoulders reversal. So in this case, it would be a bearish continuation pattern. I mean, sure. Why not?
That would put the price somewhere around $3,100.
Yeah, if that pattern controls the show.
Pattern completely plays out.
I mean, there's 100%. So many different ways you can draw patterns because even this head and shoulders is a small pattern inside a larger pattern. Yeah. Arguably some type of descending triangle, maybe even a falling wedge. You can do a lot. You can do a lot of things here.
I will note that the 3,000 area is a major area of historic resistance.
Are you mortgaging your trailer park at that point to get some of that?
It depends how we get there.
There's the rub. It's not just what you do; it's what happens to how you get there.
Okay,
and
a slow trickle down with failed, movements, but a quick, bloody move down. Remember, you buy the blood when you're oversold and outside the standard deviation. We're not there yet. Okay. I think people need to understand how bad this can really get when the market decides that Bitcoin sub 5,700 is potentially inevitable. Do the exchanges start dumping? Do
I don't think
the
so.
miners start dumping?
That's something to keep an eye on, but I think a slow bleed's more likely than like
Yeah.
a lot than like a fast bleed at this point.
It's possible. It's possible. All right, guys. Hey, listen, 195. How about some thumbs up there? We really appreciate you guys being here. Give us the thumbs up. We much appreciate it. Remember, you guys can find me on Twitter. I am at Big Chonis. I share with you guys my best ideas. Please reach out to me if you've interest in becoming one of my mentoring students. You guys can find my big buddy Big Cheds on Twitter at Big Cheds. Does a great job. He's also part of the Bitcoin Live crew, and he also puts out great videos as well on his YouTube channel. Cheds, any final thoughts here before we sign off?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on YouTube, of course, at Cheds Trading. Just encourage you guys to give Big Chonis here the thumbs up on the video. It helps it get higher in search terms. And I want to appreciate him for allowing me to come on the show. I really enjoy collaborating with him. And I love to see the chat room, a nice lively chat room. And I appreciate you guys for showing up and making the show just that much better. So, Big Cheds out.
Thanks, guys. Keep you guys posted on what we're seeing. Stay safe out there, all right? These are trying times, but if you're smart, you can play it for the long term. Okay, don't force any trades you're not comfortable with. Keep those stop losses tight. Okay, until the market really feels like we've had a good bottoming area, until we feel like a lot of the burnout has come through this market. Okay, we're not anywhere of a safe area yet. So stay safe. Keep you guys posted. Big Chona signing out. Talk to you soon.